Margaret John, Board Director.
Ken?
Ken Larson, thank you, Madam President, Vice President of Board.
Melanie?
Melanie Hartley, board member.
Rhonda?
Rhonda Ritchie on staff with the art.
Beverly?
Beverly Porter, executive director and parent.
Hillary?
I'm Hillary and I am a staff member.
I think that was everybody. I don't think we had guests. No? Okay. Everybody wants to review the agenda, see if we need to add, take away, or anything like that. We can do that.
Okay, sorry.
I don't think I have anything, not hearing any suggestions, and if I can accept, I will entertain motion. Ken makes a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Dale seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Agenda is passed as presented. All right, advocacy reports. Dale, do you have anything for us?
No, not think of.
Okay.
Other than my services that I'm going to the Cascade Connection.
Cascade Connections, and yeah. Did you volunteer at April Brews Days?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was this weekend.
Yeah, it went great.
Yeah, big turnout.
Yeah, big turnout.
There we go. Excellent.
And for folks who didn't hear some of that earlier, Dale was saying that Evergreen Supported Living is closing their services. And so Cascade Connections is open and ready to take on clients in there. I know there are Access Living is another supported living agencies. Rehabco is, so I'm glad that you've
Cascade Connection.
Yeah.
So that's a significant change in the community. Having a supported living provider shut their doors.
Yeah, the staffing just wasn't looking good.
So, yeah. Well, thanks for the update. I'm glad it's gonna work for you. So good job.
Thank you. It'll be taken on the next Friday, May 1st.
It's coming around fast. So, all right. Ken, do you or Susan have anything for us?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. The history and visiting of the project honoring the Washington State DDC is a 50-year journey by uplifting people with milestones that shape disability advocacy in Washington State. Join us for an afternoon of community reflection and large-scale commemorative mural capturing shared history and vision of the future. Light refreshments provided. When this was done on the 15th of April from 3:30 to 5:30, in person only at the South Puget Sound Community College, Lacey Campus Event Center. Who, council members, partners, members of disability community from Washington, and first come, first served basis. Registration was required. It was a very great celebration. Fantastic celebration. Okay,
all right.
So all the bills that passed, 1390 ending the community protection program. This is for sale. 5863 preservation of all records. 2350 transparency of the RHCs. 1795 addressing restraint and isolation in schools. 2230 streamlining community residential. 5855 nice coverings by law enforcement. 6035 improving voting access for people with disabilities so they can mail their vote still. 2266 encouraging permanent supported housing. 5156 elevator standards for smaller apartments. Big news, during last week's floor vote on the protection program, we had a unfortunate incident where Senator, I believe you heard this, Senator Christian from the Spokane area was going to read the sale reaction. Senator Christian, however, used the R word in floor on talking about DD services. That is not acceptable. This is not only makes the senator look bad, but others who work with him. And now we will see where this goes. Well, he got told off pretty good, I heard. Today, Eric and I went to Olympia for the proclamation of the DD Awareness Month. I have something from Tracy Turner about Tacoma Watch Party. I believe Mike Galantella said meeting was over at 4 p.m. Thank you, Madam President. That's my report.
All right.
Ken, this is Beverly. I wonder, did you want to say anything about the community summit happening in June or the People First convention happening later this year?
Yeah, I'm going to let Sue do that for me.
Excellent.
All right.
Good.
Susan, I guess Susan would be our guest.
Okay. The convention is really booming this year, and there's a lot of people is going, and I'm going to be going this year to go see my friends and down in Portland and
Kids that.
Kitsap, and my husband he's been to Kitsap, and it's really nice. He said down there when he was doing his journey and stuff, but that's where it is. This is, and I'm going to be staying in a nice motel and everything, but it's going to be really fun. A lot of things to do down there, and a lot of people's. It is going to be whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be fun, and it's just going to be really great to go see everybody again.
And when is that one again?
It's going to be fun to go see everybody again.
People First Convention,
People First
October
Convention.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah, it'll be great.
It's going to be
Sure.
great.
Sounds like it's getting really put together well, so it's going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, we're going to have a DJ, and going to have some games and all kinds of fun.
Kinds of classes,
That's
great
so good.
classes.
In Kitsap.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Anybody have anything else to share?
yeah.
All right. I don't think we have any unfinished, but
I would just like to add one more thing, Ken. I really appreciate that you spoke up about the legislator who used the R word. I think
Yeah.
it's important to go ahead and echo that piece and let folks know that after he was confronted, he used the R word again, and
Yeah.
he has not backed down.
All right.
And there have been some self-advocates and other folks who've spoken back to him about how inappropriate and how demeaning and dismissive that is. So is
What
really
can you say?
hurtful.
Some people just don't get it. And two, he needs to retire. I mean,
That's
he's not
the
going to
R
cut
word.
down. Yeah, well,
That's
that's the
Retire
other,
is
that's the best. Yeah, but that's the best side of the R word.
yeah,
Retire.
exactly.
Please
Yeah.
take a walk or something, because you're not learning anything by
Yeah.
doing that. And that's not what we want to hear anymore. It's just not
Mhm.
necessary. So,
Well, I appreciate you speaking out about it as well, Ken. I know that it's gotten a lot of people energized and frustrated. So, yeah.
yes, it did. Yes, it did that, boy. You bet. We got all generated now. Okay.
all right. I don't think we have any unfinished business, so we can move on to our executive director's report.
Okay. So, the first thing I want to do is just give a little bit of a staff update, and we're all still the same people. I just want to let folks know that we have experienced spring break and some flus going around and a lot of sicknesses, and so there's been a few challenges about having all the staff available or working in the way that we usually do in the beginning of April. So I know that some emails might have gotten to you late or that you weren't responded to. And I know that as an effort for myself and for the folks that I'm working with here, we were doing all we could to respond to families and individuals and let some of that administration stuff not be quite the priority. So I know you did not get your packet in a timely manner. The other piece about that is that there were some computer problems as well. So those have been resolved and things have been recovered, which is good, which is really helpful. So some frustration there with computers. So that's kind of the staff update. And you can see I have some numbers there for March for our activities within the month of March. It's been phenomenal to see how many families are attending support meetings. One of the things that Whatcom Center has done recently is invited our parent staff to attend their playgroup meetings here in Bellingham and then out in Ferndale. And so Carlene and Melissa have a chance then to meet with those parents in an environment where they feel comfortable and safe, and try to build some connections with those families around future services and connections in the community. So very much appreciate the partnership that we have with the Opportunity Council and Whatcom Center in welcoming us into many of those events. Another point that I do want to make is that we have seen a reduction in Spanish-speaking families connecting with us or attending events. We have done some a little more private kind of attempts to have gatherings here and reach out to families, but the concerns around immigration continue to really limit the connection with families, and we're seeing that all over the community. Alina and Marta and I were just meeting earlier today and talking a little bit about that as well, and trying to stay on top of what those concerns are in the community and make sure that families have really good, accurate information. It's really concerning to reach out to a family and try to continue to connect with them and not get through and just not know where those families are. Have they left the county? Have they left the country? Are they literally just being super quiet because they're so afraid? So we're doing everything we can to maintain the safe spot and the connection with the families that we do have a relationship with. But numbers in some of that Latino family outreach are just gonna be lower for a while. And that is something that's shared by many other nonprofits and agencies in the community. We also, one of the things that's not on that sheet is that we did participate in a transition fair in March. And so Rhonda and I were there, and Carlene. There were about 130 students, I believe. I think so. And this was students in the 18 to 22 range who were all coming with their school program, having a chance to connect with the ARC, talk to people who work, say, at Social Security, some of those employment agencies, as well as some of those supported living agencies. So really being able to break the ice and make these services feel acceptable and accessible and attainable for folks as well. So it's just always a really fun day for me because I get to see a lot of students, and they always seem to come in really excited about the doors are open to them. And I see it the same way that as people are leaving school and graduating, that they're feeling like, yeah, I'm moving on to these next things. I'm going to school, I'm doing this further education, I've got this job. And so I really enjoy that. It's all the options are open, it feels like. Yeah. And so other things that are happening. I don't have any more updates on the facilities piece. I know I shared last month that there was supposed to be a county council meeting that approved some things and that got put off and delayed for some reason. I understand that Whatcom County legal folks are going through all of the contracts to make sure that it's really okay for the Healthy Children's Fund to be putting money into these capital projects that would include someone being able to do a bit more in the childcare area in our Alderwood building. And then the other things on here, we are having a self-advocacy pizza party on May 20th here in person. And I want to invite everyone on the board to be able to come and have pizza with us as well. It gives you a chance to meet some of the members and hear their concerns and their ideas and what they're celebrating and looking forward to in these next years. As we continue as an ARC and as an advocacy agency. And this is not quite so full and not so populated of an event. So it does allow for some really good conversations and time to hear from folks. So I want to invite you all next month, Wednesday, May 20th, for the self-advocacy pizza party.
Your question.
I think it's at 6.
I think it's the 6.
I'll check and make sure, yeah. And the following week, the following Wednesday is the ARC's annual membership meeting. So Hillary's been great. She just prompted me about a question about membership and things like that and who we should contact. So one of those pieces is we'll add information to our May newsletter, as well as send information out to folks who are members in the community. But we get to offer free membership to all. So thinking about the ways that we let folks know they're included and welcome. And then that other piece will be once we've finished committee reports and voted on a slate of nominees, that's the other piece that we'll be able to put together. That information, anything that the membership votes on has to go to them 21 days or more before the annual meeting, so they have time to review that. And then the last thing that I just have any information on, I've not worked on a 90th anniversary party prep, but I will talk with folks more about how we could plan for that. The event that's happening this fall is the ARC is having their national convention in Portland in November. And so because it's near and a little more accessible for us, travel wise, etc., I'm looking forward to seeing if board members are interested in going, offering to other staff members, and the executive directors of the other ARCs in the state of Washington, along with Stacy Dim, have decided we got to get together there and see each other in person instead of on Zoom.
So Beverly,
So yes.
marking 10, he's interested.
I'm sorry, what?
What you mentioned. I said, what you mentioned, I'm interested.
Oh, you're interested in the national convention?
Exactly.
Okay, great. All
I'm
right,
very much interested.
Yeah, me too.
Ken and Susan,
Yes.
Was that in October,
both
you
interested.
said?
in
September,
November.
in November.
Yeah,
November.
Oh, that's
What
fine.
weekend is, what?
I don't remember. I'll look it up.
I'll look it up too.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what I prepared in terms of information for folks. But if you have some questions or want to ask more about a particular area, I can certainly answer those questions.
I just gotta speak in chair.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed you. So, Beverly,
Yes.
again, I have one more thing to say to board, as it is mostly present, I am, as I told you the other day, working on some fundraising plan and whatnot. And by next month, I will hopefully have something in line that we can start jumping on some stuff. But in the same right, I'd like to be hired for money, if it's possible. If it ain't, well, I'll live with that. If it ain't, I'll live with it. But it's, I mean, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Fundraiser Chairman. I like that.
I agree.
Right.
I got some stuff going, but it's a little early yet, but I'll have it next time.
Okay, I look forward to hearing about that and coordinating with you. I
All
did
right.
forget one thing too that relates to money, but also to staff activities and things, and that is Rhonda worked on a grant application, and do
Okay.
you want to share more about that?
I think you
yeah.
can. Like you sent it to me, it was very easy to fill out. You deserve more credit for it than I do.
So we have received a grant from the Bellingham Bills baseball team.
Ooh.
Yay.
Excellent.
So they picked some nonprofits from grant applications. And so part of what we get is we do get $2,000 as an agency to be able to use for the, improving and increasing our services. And then
Excellent.
on June 10th, we get 25 free tickets
Nice.
to be able to go to the Bellingham Bells game. And if
cool.
folks beyond that want to go, they certainly can, and we could work on other things, but I would love for all of you to be able to come along and do that. We are working on finding out
I want to
if
go
someone
along.
can throw out the first pitch, and but having a lot of excitement and energy about that. One of the things that we talked about as staff and an idea was with those 25 free tickets to offer those specifically to folks who do attend and participate in some ARC events that are coming up. So that would be on the 20th with Self Advocates to offer to them. And then on the 27th at the ARC membership meeting, again, to offer to those folks.
Yeah.
And so making those tickets available without trying to exclude anyone, but also honor and celebrate folks for being able to attend and wanting to participate and have that just be another option of fun and inclusion.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent.
So we can have a table there with our information on the.
Yep. Yeah, we get to have a table and have some information. And so, and it's just fun to be included. It's not gonna be like one of our training nights with a workshop or some of the other things but to be able to have some fun and be part of the community.
Right. Community awareness. Perfect. Excellent.
And I did check, and that ARC convention is November 18th through the 20th.
18, 19, 20. Okay.
Yeah. The last one I went to was about 14 years ago, and it was in Bellevue.
Wow.
I haven't been. Yeah. So I always thought I want to keep us from spending too much on airfare and hotels, so I stayed with my in-laws.
Oh, wow.
Bellevue, yeah.
Travel, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. And do you and Susan want to go to the baseball game?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
You couldn't twist my arm hard enough. Get me to
Yes,
that.
we would love to go. I used to work. I used to work for the Bellingham Bills, and it was really great and it's fun. I got many years ago, and it's fun. I'm well known at the Bells, so I used to work at the table and stuff there.
That's right, Susan. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be really rewarding for all of us to connect and have some fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
What time?
Do you know what time the game starts?
No, but we'll get that info for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry, we don't have it all at our fingertips.
all right.
I just today even found out some of the documents that I'd worked on Friday have disappeared.
Yeah.
They
They haven't given us all that.
they reverted back to what was there before Friday, so I had to redo reports.
Well,
Yeah,
you can feel free to forward me a text when you do that
okay.
info for me.
We'll get you.
Looks like it starts at 6:35
There you go.
and they're playing the Nanaimo Night Owls.
Ooh.
So
Maybe they'll sell Nanaimo
No, I
bars.
was thinking, that's where my mind went to. I know that's what I was saying.
Sugar and chocolate, yeah.
Not here, but, yeah,
All right.
that's the.
All right, so I'm all done, Madam President.
all right. There you go. All right, I'm multitasking here. I have nothing to report except that the sun came out here, so that's kind of fun and exciting.
No kidding.
If we wanna check in and review your March meeting minutes. If you guys wanna look at those and review, let me know if there are any corrections or cancellations, corrections.
Well, here is a delightful piece of information because of our staffing and things. So Rhonda has helped to prepare these minutes. And one of the challenges in listening to the recording is determining who made a motion and who seconded things. So we cannot tell on the back of, or the second page of your board minutes, or is it third?
Second. I think it's.
No, it's the third, it's the third page of your board minutes where it says
Yeah, right.
motion to adjourn. Somebody made a motion and then it was seconded by
Yep.
Francie.
I think Margaret made the motion.
All I heard was Anne, and so I was like, was it Margaret John, was it Ken Larson?
I think it was Margaret.
Margaret.
Margaret, do you recall if you made the motion to adjourn?
I think I did.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'll step in and say she did. I heard it too.
Okay, well, that allows us to, then make a determination if we're gonna accept these minutes with corrections or edits.
All right,
So with that correction, I so move.
So Ken makes the motion to approve the March 2026
Not a second yet.
minutes. Dale seconds with the edits as discussed. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any
Aye, aye, aye.
opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously. All right. Moving on to our financial statements.
The next one.
I'm gonna let, maybe it is Hillary, do you want to talk about these, or Beverly, or?
Yeah, it is me today who will be presenting these. I have just a couple comments from Susan to share. A pretty decent month. Our P2P income right here is a little smaller than our budget anticipated, due to some staffing changes in the beginning of the year. Our unoccupied facility expenses down here are a little bit higher than we anticipated due to some work that's being done in the Alderwood building.
Excuse me.
And I think those are the only comments on this report. We are running. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll just add a quick note about the parent staffing and that number. Many of us as parents also have things that come up for our children. And so, staffing was reduced in January and February as one person had some major surgery and needed recovery time. And so for that staff person to be able to just pay attention to family and take care of that was really important. And it's nice to be able to then offer that and then have staff come shining back in the door saying, I'm ready to work. And bring the rest of their expertise with them, having been through that. So that was not, it was not a decision to reduce anyone's hours, and it was not a decision for a person to leave in any way, just a short medical leave.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see here. Besides that, we're still looking really good on our budget. If things aren't right on, they're just a little tiny bit off. We still are running in the negative, which is what we planned for with our budget this year, needing some additional fundraising. And we are a little over budget in that area. And then moving on to our profit and loss by class, which is a new thing we're doing quarterly to be able to see kind of where all of our programs are for the quarter. And this includes overhead costs that we allocate out. Again, the Redwood building is like our big money makers where we get cover a lot of our back end. But our net income matches our other P&L. Moving down here to the balance sheet, our savings accounts are still looking good and generating pretty good interest, which is wonderful. Our accounts receivable is a little higher than normal. We now have received the payment that we were waiting for, but this just goes back to March 31st. Our credit cards are good. We only have a little bit of liabilities. And again, our net income matches the profit and loss. Overall, our assets are around $4 million. Any questions?
No.
Awesome.
Crickets.
Feel free to
All
look at
right.
this P&L by class. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email.
Thank you so much, Hillary.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So then if there are no questions, we can
So
take a motion
moved.
to accept the March financial statements as presented. Ken makes a
So
motion.
moved.
I'll second it.
Dale seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously. Then we have committee reports. Board affairs.
I can just report on that. I have not finalized all of it with Ellie, but the piece that I've determined that is very important as a goal for me as executive director in the next year is to work on the endowment and to be able to work with the board to make that more formal. I have some connections and actually have a really good template for an endowment. I've shared that with Susan Jewell and with Francie, and want to be able to work with this board to be able to wrap that up.
All right.
And make that feel secure.
Very good. All right. Nominating committee.
I think the one thing for the nominating committee now is just making sure that we have the slate of officers to be voted on at the meeting. And there was some informal discussion of that ahead of the official meeting. And it is my understanding, and Beverly, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that the slate to be voted on will be Ken, Francie, and Sarah Godwin. Am I correct?
You are correct from what I know, and so the nominating committee would share that as Ken Larson, Francie Chalmers, and Sarah Godwin are being presented as the slate of nominees as board of directors. And so then this board would vote on that, and then we can send that out to the membership to prepare them, and then they'll vote on that in May.
Okay.
So that, I think that's the motion you just made.
You just made.
Margaret.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's appropriate, that's my motion.
Okay. Do I have a
I'll
second to
second
the
that.
motion? Oh, Ken was faster. Next one down, next one. All right. All in favor of accepting the slate of nominees as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously. Programs and oh, is that all done for the nominating? Yes?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
And there's no.
Nothing for program and services, so DSO?
Yeah, we have not met. We're gonna meet, I think, next Monday. But we have some events coming up. I think I've shared some of these, but on this Friday, we have a mom's night at an art studio here in town. And then the next thing that's coming is our dance on May 23rd. And then we have things throughout the summer too, one event a month. Some of them we're joining other things that are happening, and so yeah, that's what's happening as far as events for DSO, which is exciting. We mentioned this last month, but on Friday, we're also meeting with the hospital. They are looking for some information that they can have on hand for basically their newborn families, and so we're meeting with them on Friday to give them our brochures, talk a little bit about both the art and DSO and what we can do for the families who are coming through the hospital, which is exciting. And I think I mentioned this last time also, but we have a volunteer who's just doing amazing, getting a bunch of things. I know. So we have something from the Chrysalis, Woods, Linden Safeway, Oasis Spa in Linden, Jansen Art Center, and Dancing for Joy. So we're starting to put together these raffle items, looking at how to best utilize and leverage that for fundraising. Yeah, so we're still thinking through that piece a little bit, but have some ideas on how we might be able to make that work. But also, as far as fundraising, Texas Roadhouse, who is one of the people who put together a basket, you guys mentioned at the last meeting, like the idea of kind of utilizing or working with companies in the community, and they are excited about the idea of different organizations coming in and having, again, a little table at the restaurant and having a portion of the proceeds that night go to that organization too. So I'm thinking that we will reach back out to them maybe in the fall. I'm thinking that could be a good time to do something like that. And also they are excited to bring their mascot to the Buddy Fest and bring some other items there too. So yeah, so starting that kind of community relationship with them. And then the other two companies that have been helpful, they've been with two of our volunteers, Costco and Boeing, both. If you contribute to a company or to a nonprofit, they will match that. And so we have those organizations also sending funds along with the individuals, kind of directing funds our way. So those are a couple of things that are happening with DSO that are helping with fundraising right now. So yeah, those are the new things.
Love it.
Yeah. We'll have some more information hopefully on exactly what we're gonna do for the raffle and auction maybe next month. So, yeah.
All right. Excellent, Dale.
I have something to share about fundraising ideas. I was thinking of the North Washington Land Fair this summer. It'd be a good way to get a table set up for the Ark, and then everybody can get to know about the Ark and stuff, like at the North Washington Fair, where since you live out there, Rhonda, maybe you can speak with the office, the fair office.
Yeah, I know that
Rhonda's got a connection.
I do have a connection. I, in a separate capacity, have like a sensory room out there that people can come and have a break in, and they are open to that kind of thing. But it does take also, just so everyone knows, a lot of manpower because it is 10 days, and so it is usually it's going to be a long commitment if you have a table at the fair, as far as manning it. So you just need to think through that piece too.
Yeah, and that's a great idea, Dale, because fun events where we can share information is great. What Rhonda's done with the sensory room has been a really nice spot for families to know that they can get away from some of the noise and the dust or smells and things, and be able to just calm down and chill out for a bit and then go enjoy more of the fair. So it's 10 days of trying to find staffing and volunteers and that sort of thing. We can certainly and have had some materials there.
Yep.
And so, it's something we could look at if there's some other ways that we could support as well.
My family's favorite thing about it is it's a place where they can come and leave all of their stuff when they're going around the fair. So I extend that to your families too. You come to the fair and you need a place to just take a little break. You can come find us.
Yeah, get some business cards, arts.
Yeah, we did. We did have flyers and stuff there last year. Yeah.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so families who find it and go in and have a moment of respite
Mm-hmm.
are able to also make some connections, and it's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
I know about 20-something years ago, we went into the flower barn near the dahlias and laid down on the cold concrete to have a break. And that was how we got a sensory break about 25-something years ago.
Now you have a beanbag on the cold
Now I got a
concrete.
beanbag.
Some cars to play.
Yeah. And I will say that piece about the fair being extending to the 10 days is, I think that they're gonna get a lot of participation and hope with some great attendance, but I also hope that in some ways it makes it easier for families and makes it more accessible.
I think that's actually one of the reasons they did it. That and because they extended, I remember having this conversation, because they extended to 10 days, those Saturdays and Sundays that they weren't always open, it provided like some equity and accessibility for families who couldn't come during the week after. That was one of the things they thought.
Okay. That's great to know. Yeah, the first time I went to the fair, Dan Evans was running for governor and I got to shake his hand. That's how old I am.
I didn't live in Washington then.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was probably in New York way back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, he was campaigning and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a good governor.
All right. I think we have a video to watch for DEI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
let's
stop
do
my
it.
share real quick and then re-pull it back up.
And my thanks again to Margaret and Ellie for continuing to pursue this and offer this information for us to, as we keep learning.
All right, here we go.
Video.
Why does disability representation almost never come up when discussing diversity in media? Hello. Today I want to talk about #DisabilityTooWhite, a hashtag by Vilisa Thompson on Twitter in order to bring attention to the lack of racial diversity in disability representation. So first, let's start off with, think fast. How many disabled characters can you name in film and television? Okay, how many of those characters are people of color? Right. For many, even trying to come up with disabled characters in the first place can be incredibly difficult. And though many of the ones that I can think of, I wouldn't necessarily call good or accurate representation, but that's another topic for another video. And they're certainly not racially diverse. But they do exist. So if you're stuck for some examples, I think it can help you out there. Here are some movies and TV shows that feature disabled characters. The Miracle Worker, Sybil, Rain Man, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, The Piano, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Forrest Gump, Swing Kids, Girl Interrupted, I Know Sam, The L Word, The Other Sister, Adam, Grey's Anatomy, Cast-Offs, Nip Tuck, Pretty Little Liars, Switched at Birth, Avatar, Family Guy, House MD, Soul Surfer, Glee, Temple Grandin, The King's Speech, The Theory of Everything, Mad Max Fury Road, Hush, Me Before You, The Fundamentals of Caring, Who's Driving Doug, Jump Breathe. And I could probably go on, but we don't want to take up this whole video with just that one point. But Annie, some of those are real people. They can't just, I realize that. But there are real people of color with disabilities. It's just that their stories are the ones not being told. And sure, absolutely, you could definitely name some people of color with disabilities in media if you tried. But I promise you, it's gonna be nowhere near as long as the list of disabled white characters. #DisabilityTooWhite does not intend to erase the struggles and the ableism that disabled white people experience. It is merely addressing the issue that the intersection of race and disability is not often addressed and not often represented. How the intersection of being disabled and a person of color often means heightened risk of danger and discrimination. How the erasure has people in disbelief of a person of color actually being disabled because they've never seen it before. How prejudice against race can make it difficult or even impossible to be given access to appropriate medical care or to be taken seriously in those spaces. When our history books erase us, when the news erases us, even when this year a group home for people with disabilities was attacked. 19 of them were murdered and 45 left wounded, all between the ages of 18 and 70. Because of someone's hatred for people with disabilities. A time when non-disabled people had the opportunity to show their support for the disability community, just as they had for the LGBT community when Pulse was attacked the month before. But instead there was silence. Another opportunity to show support for the disability community would be to stick around after the Olympics for the Paralympics. But not many people do that either. Not many people are even aware that it's happening. That kind of erasure is incredibly painful. It sends a message that our lives are not as valuable as non-disabled lives. Hashtag #DisabilityTooWhite is a conversation that highlights how, as minuscule as disability representation is already, disabled POC, among several other identities, among disabled women and disabled LGBT folks, etc., their representation is microscopic. Media representation has a significant impact on how society views us. That visibility allows non-disabled people to get to know us and the discriminations we face to this very moment by inviting us into their living rooms through their television sets. This is how people will get to know us and care about us, what happens to us, what we're doing, our equality and access, be outraged when we are murdered. There's a lot to unpack with all the problems with disability representation in the media, including topics like disability drag and disability tropes and harmful stereotypes. And I plan to talk about them in future videos. So if you are interested in that, please like this video and subscribe.
Right. That was kind of a deep one this month.
That was
Well,
Laney,
that's what we're
Elena.
here for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just was who that person was.
Oh, who was that person?
Let's see.
That it said
Her
Eleni,
name.
Laney.
I don't remember, sorry.
Yeah,
I remember
let me
the whole thing that started with Felicia Thompson,
Right.
so that she was quoting her.
All right, her name is.
And this was a Twitter campaign quite some time ago about disability to white that is still true.
Mhm.
So her name is Annie Elaney, who made the video. And it looks like it's 10 years old. Still relevant.
Still relevant, yeah.
All right.
And it's interesting that to continue to remember and see these things. Somebody sent me a really cute video the other day of school teachers who were all sneaking onto the roof of their school because they were throwing hot water, or not hot water, they were throwing water balloons at students and doing a sneak attack on students from the top of the school. So they were all sneaking up there and every teacher was Black. And I was like, that was never what I would have seen at Carl Cocher or some other school. And just recognizing that it's not what we see on our daily basis, to see people with disability, to see more people of color, to see folks involved in a variety of ways in the community. And it was, yeah, good to see. And the students were all surprised they got hit by some water bullets. The sneak attack. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big world and there's a lot of diversity. And we don't always see it in Whatcom County. So, thanks, Margaret.
Well, thanks to the group.
On that very thoughtful note, does anybody have any announcements, fun for the good of the order? No, then I would take a motion to adjourn the meeting of April 2026.
I get first it.
Dale makes the motion. Do I have a second?
It's Margaret, I second.
Margaret seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Then this meeting is adjourned.
Nice meeting
Thank you all for
everyone.
coming.
Good to
Bye,
see you all
everybody. Have a good
It's good to
night.
see you all.
too.
Enjoy the
Take care.
sunshine.
Thank you, Margaret, Melanie, and Ken. I so appreciate you being able to be present this evening. Thanks.
And you.
Bye, thanks.
Bye now.
Yep, I'll stop the recording and